Boom, 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 bam. Hello, everyone. Grand Rising, kings and queens, or good afternoon or good evening, depending on what time of the day you're going to check this video out. Welcome to the Great Debate Show. I'm your host, Uncle JJ, and as always, I got something to say. How you doing, nieces and nephews? Your favorite Unc is back in the dungeon with another one, and today I want to talk about a little bit of wrestling, not what's going on right now in the WWE, because let's be honest, it's not a lot good going on. I would hope to think that it gets better. Yeah, I did check out Monday Night Raw a little bit last night. I saw Punk. He's a champion now by default. I can't help but remind people that it wasn't supposed to be this way if Seth Rollins did get injured. So let's not give Triple H any credit. He still was not really going to do this, even though he should have done this a year ago. But Raw was okay, I guess. It was all right. A funny ending, awkward ending on how they got to that ending. But, you know, Logan Paul is back on television. He should be on TV more. I like Logan Paul. He's a damn good heel. CM Punk should be a good heel again, but he's not. But still, CM Punk is still CM Punk, and he's always going to be good. I just wish there were more pipe bombs that he could drop a lot more. Anyway, I'm happy for CM Punk. I'm happy for Jade Cargill. I'm happy for Ricky Saints. All former AEW people who are now champions in the WWE, along with Cody. Even though I'm kind of getting stale or tired of Cody, but none of that's neither here nor there. I just want to say that currently it may get a little better, but still by accident. But I'll get to that another time on another episode on another day. Today I want to talk about Triple H and why he is jealous of Drew McIntyre and a few others that I'm going to name. You know, people like Randy Orton, or It's Something Personal with Randy Orton, Austin Theory, Omos. You know, people that you don't see on television that you should. I'll get to them in a moment, though. Hell, even John Cena and AJ Styles. Just look at the booking. I'm going to explain. Also, I'm going to tell you about jamorant. And is it time for the Memphis Grizzlies to finally go ahead and just break it down, tear it down, and move on from jamorant? I'm going to tell you some interesting things he said once again last night after his return to the Grizzlies after a one-game suspension due to conduct detrimental to the team. NFL trade deadline is today, and, well, we're about 8 hours from the deadline. I'll be back for emergency podcasts and, with any breaking news if that hits. The Cowboys have made a trade, too. It's nothing that people probably thought. Jerry Jones is just one of the most brilliant brains in the business when it comes to marketing his team, profiting his team, and getting people to just pay attention to his damn Cowboys when no one really should. I'll explain who that person they traded a little bit later in the show. All right, let's get to it, though. The Great Debate Show is available on all social media platforms. I encourage you all to follow, subscribe to The Great Debate Show on YouTube, and share with everyone or others. It attracts more viewers, and it helps me out a lot in the algorithm. There's a lot of great content up right now on the YouTube channel. Just go to the live stream videos under live, and a lot of videos under just videos that have been uploaded that a lot of people have not really checked out. Check it out. This will be one for the ages. Okay. Why is Triple H jealous of Drew McIntyre, or is he? Yeah, I think he is. Why do I think that? Because he continues to get screwed over and over again in the WWE. And this is going back ever since Vince McMahon was booted out of his own company. Now we understand why Vince McMahon is not in the WWE anymore, and I'm not here to debate that. When he was in his prime, I think he's the GOAT. Whether it's him or the people around him, he still made wrestling really, really interesting at that time. He lost his touch. Now he's gone. And for a lot of other reasons on why he's gone, and rightfully so. But there's something going on between Vince McMahon and Triple H. They're not on good terms. I hear they're not even really on speaking terms these days, allegedly. And if that's the case, then it would make sense why you see everyone who was a Vince McMahon guy not seem to be a Triple H guy. And Drew McIntyre is one of those guys. You know who else Drew McIntyre is very fond of, or who's one of his guys? Drew McIntyre is a Vince McMahon guy, and he's a Rock guy. Yeah, The Rock speaks highly of Drew McIntyre. They have a good relationship. And anybody that seems to have a good relationship or that McMahon or The Rock is fond of, they get pushed to the back of the line. Triple H does his booking based off personal agendas. He does his booking based off, who he likes and does not like. Who you like and who he does not like. I mean, it shouldn't be personal, but that's what it is. It's not about how this person deserves to push. The fans like them, or this is who should be at the top right now. This should be the face of the company. This is the best heel. This is the best baby face, whatever it may be. There are certain reasons why wrestlers get the push, and sometimes it happens unexpectedly. But when you know, and you just have to go for it and go with it. Now the only time the WWE goes with anything is because they're the number one seller in merch. They're selling the most merch, like the Yeet movement. I tell you, man, look, and we can talk about how, well, it seems like all of The Rock's cousins are getting a push and they don't deserve it. You're not wrong, kind of, but a lot of this is just the merch. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso have sold so much merch over the past 5 years. It's ridiculous, especially Roman. And for the past couple of years, it's been Jey. And so when you're over like that, you do deserve a title run. But why does Jey Uso get that title run? It was short, but he still got it. But people like LA Knight can't get it. That's another name I left out that Triple H absolutely despises. And I don't know if it's him that he hates, but according to Kevin Nash on his podcast, it's his whole shtick. He hates the whole LA Knight persona. It's a the Rock ripoff or Stone Cold. I think he's kind of more Stone Cold than The Rock, but most people say he's The Rock. And well, Triple H and The Rock, they just don't have a great relationship. Allegedly, we've heard that for a long, long time. So yeah, there's some of the Samoans that still get the push. Some of it is just because, well, they're kind of good at what they do. Now, Jey Uso is not good in the ring. He's an entrance, and that's it. But it's a damn good entrance that a lot of the kids love. I'm over it. Never really did anything to me. I've been to a couple of those shows, and I'm never doing this. I got my cardio in the morning in the gym. I don't need to do that at night while I'm trying to have an alcoholic beverage and just all of it. That's too much. That's kid stuff. And the WWE is still very PG, which another thing that I don't like. The difference between them and AEW is just that AEW goes overboard. And we get it somewhere in between the PG and the TV 14 or the TV MA rating that we see in this era of wrestling. Anyway, Triple H will let you see one, Vince McMahon and The Rock. Drew McIntyre are, he's their guy. Vince McMahon and The Rock. Drew McIntyre's their guy. That's one reason why he doesn't get the proper push. What do you mean, Unc, when you say he doesn't get the proper push? He gets screwed all the time. Repeatedly. He should be a world heavyweight champion or the WWE champion by now. You don't agree? This feud with Cody Rhodes that we've had for the past few months, it just was kind of hit and miss. It could have been better. It should have been better. But, well, it wasn't. Why is that? Every week we have Drew McIntyre being this whiny little bitch. Every week. And yeah, that makes you get tired of Drew McIntyre, but that's what Triple H is doing. He wants you to hate him. And I know that's a part of being a heel. But Triple H didn't do that when he was a heel. Triple H won matches sometimes, even though he shouldn't have. Triple H beat Cactus Jack or Mankind and Big Show, and he won world titles, WWE championships that people didn't think he deserved. He was the reason why, so I'm being told, that people would change the channel and see what's going on Monday Night Nitro. on WCW Nitro. There were times where it was bad. The Evolution days. People say and think that Triple H would come out and bore the crowd for the first 10, 15 minutes of the show. And they say, thank God TNA exists now, and they would go over and watch TNA, who had at that time a lot of WWE's former stars who had left and went over there. And so Triple H was what you had left to hold the fort down. It was kind of boring and it was kind of bad at one point. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is Triple H won matches as a heel over Goldberg, over plenty of people, except for Batista, who he continued to lose to, but that was Vince probably calling that shot, of course. Triple H beat some people after he would nag and complain to Vince. So as a heel, who nobody really fond of, how could he win some of these matches and title matches? How could he come out after a loss and still not whine and bitch and complain like Drew McIntyre does after every single time he loses? And it's not that Drew McIntyre doesn't have a case for how he's been losing these matches, but he's repeatedly gotten screwed over and over and over. Losing to CM Punk, losing to Damian Priest, losing in 7 minutes to Randy Orton by one RKO, getting stuck in a feud with Jelly Roll. That could have been a great SummerSlam match, just McIntyre and Orton, but we threw Jelly Roll and Logan Paul in the middle of it. He just wants this dude to be in a shit show. Isn't it obvious? Not to mention the amount of times Drew's been screwed, by Karrion Kross, Solo Sikoa, CM Punk like 3 or 4 times, and that was in 2024 alone. It's like Drew can't never just win and get the proper push he deserves. Why is that? I got another example on why that is. Remember when Drew spoke on, I think it was Impulsive or whatever that is? He spoke facts about the current state of WWE wrestlers, the wrestlers' physique today. He said you're meant to stand out to the point of being a wrestler. That's the point of being a wrestler, I mean. He said you're supposed to be larger than life. You're supposed to look larger than life. And the guys that are built like Triple H was back in his prime, it's Drew McIntyre. It's Randy Orton. In a smaller statue, LA Knight. Austin Theory. These guys are ripped. Now, LA Knight is not Drew McIntyre, but you get what I'm saying. These guys are the ones who actually look like they're wrestlers. You can take them serious as a wrestler. Finn Balor is a much smaller dude, but he's ripped. Look at his physique. Not 1% of body fat, even though you have to have at least, 4% body fat? Well, that's all he has. And people like that continuously just get pushed to the back of the card, continue to get screwed over and over. I know. Triple H is a clown. And he doesn't want anybody in the WWE today, currently, to look as good as he did back then in his day. That's the reason why you will see people like Solo Sikoa. What's the little husky dude name before he got injured and he's been gone now? The dude that was with damn, I'm bad on some of these names, y'all, because they're not good. That's why. The dude that was with Chad Gable's group. Whatever his name is, the short, fat, husky dude. He pushes people like that. He'll put them on TV more than an Austin Theory. And I love Kevin Owens. He's a great heel. He's really good. He does great work. But Austin Theory can't even have a match with his shirt off. I've never seen him in the ring without a shirt on. That means you don't have the physique of a wrestler that a wrestler should have. If you don't have the physique of a wrestler that they should have, you have to keep your shirt on. Why are you being seen more than the people who look damn good without a shirt on? Triple H and his workout regimen, his physical fitness, his physique back in that time was bar none. One of the greatest. But I think that's the reason why you don't see people like Drew McIntyre, Austin Theory, not even on television. Finn Balor not getting the proper push just always in the back, talking to the Judgment Day. John Cena, someone who's still in pretty good shape for his age and who has not been really wrestling in years. LA Knight, these people, I think he's very jealous of them, and he doesn't want you to see that he's not the only guy that takes his physique and his physical fitness serious. And he doesn't want you to see that. But if there's some short, fat, meaty guy, oh, you'll see them on TV all day long. Push him. Sami Zayn gets more TV time, more push, more wins, and more title runs than anybody that you can think of who probably don't deserve all that. I like Sami Zayn, he's cool, but there's a lot of people in the IWC. I'll read comments, I see tweets. They don't take him serious, and they're tired of Triple H shoving him down their throats, down our throat, repeatedly. Sami Zayn, you don't take him more serious than you would a Drew McIntyre. So I think he's jealous of McIntyre because Drew McIntyre is one of those wrestlers. And again, he said it. He talked about the current state of WWE wrestlers' physiques, and he says you're meant to stand out. That's the point of being a wrestler. You're supposed to be larger than life. And the built guys like Drew is who Triple H is burying the most. Make that shit make sense. I think he's jealous of him, and I think he doesn't want you to see anybody that looks even remotely as good as he did in the early 2000s, in the late 90s. Hell, we'll go all the way up into the 2000s. The mid-2000s, Triple H was still in great shape when he would come back every now and then and have a match. In 14, 15. That's it. And Randy Orton looks phenomenal still for his age, and you haven't seen Orton in a month. You probably won't see him for another month. He goes away for a couple of months, comes back, doesn't do too much of anything but stare at Cody's title, and he goes to the back again. What's up with this? Has to be something personal with Randy Orton. But I also think it's the physique. He doesn't want you to see anybody that was touching him in his time. He has to be the GOAT because nobody's calling him the GOAT, right? I think it's something personal with him and Randy Orton right now. I think it's something personal with him and John Cena. That's why Cena said, man, I'm not calling my shot. Whether that's true or not. Cena made his business to come out and say, man, look, I'm just playing the hand that I'm dealt. That was his way of telling you Triple H is a liar. I didn't ask for Brock Lesnar. I didn't ask to be squashed by Brock Lesnar. It's my retirement tour. It's my farewell tour. Y'all, this is not the guy that you all want to be led by. He should not be leading or running the WWE. Yeah, at the time, he was the right guy when Vince got booted out. Yes. It was good for the locker room. It was good for the backstage. Now they've got good morale. Everybody's, happy. They're not walking on eggshells. But tell me when you got the most out of your employees, when you made it just so nice and fun to be around. They get laxed. They get complacent. You never saw the botches that you see in the ring now that Triple H has took over. Too many mistakes, too many accidents. It's because he's not as hard on them as Vince would be. Sometimes you just really have to wear down on people to bring the best out of them. He done that. These matches are boring. And I don't really care about a great match, to be honest with you. Every match doesn't have to be a 5-star match, but it needs to have some meaning, some story to it. And this is what Paul Levesque is telling you that the matches have, but they don't. If he thinks those are good stories, this is why he should be gone. And not to mention he's spending most of his time in the White House focusing on politics for whatever reason, more than he is the WWE. He's not showing up at a lot of these shows. He was not at Saturday night's main event. Allegedly, he's falling asleep, taking naps in Gorilla when he is there. And not only that, not only is he jealous of Drew McIntyre, don't you get tired of seeing his face every damn time? I mean, he is the Caucasian version of Diddy, if I ever knew one. Remember when Suge Knight said Puffy is always dancing on all the videos? If you're tired of CEOs who was always all in the videos, always dancing in front of the camera and shit, come to Death Row Records. Tony Khan should actually make a promo about that. And boy, I tell you, the AEW sickos will eat that shit up. And even some WWE fans may tune in to AEW programming because they would be like, damn, TK's kind of got a point. Tony Khan should actually make a promo and say, are you sick of the COOs in wrestling promotions who are always in all the videos, in all the backstage cuts, promoting all of the PLEs, promoting all of the documentaries, all the doc series that they're going to make? Whatever it is, if you're tired of seeing that same face in everything, showing up in the middle of the ring, in the beginning of each big paid PLE, saying the same, oh, are you ready? Come to AEW. You're welcome, TK. That would be phenomenal. He hit a home run. That's Triple H. He's the new Diddy. He can't help himself. The motherfucker made a TV show, a documentary, Unreal, just so he could show himself more and more and more, remind you, hey, I'm the one who's in charge here. I'm calling the shots. Well, thanks for reminding us how bad you are at this now. Because after he finished Vince McMahon's stories, he's been pretty bad. He hadn't really came up with a good story at all. Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, I'll give you that. That was good. But yet still, Drew McIntyre lost that feud, as he loses every feud. WrestleMania 40, give him the World Heavyweight title for 5 minutes and embarrass him and let Damian Priest cash in on him. They went away from it, then they came back to it months later, and Damian Priest still got the best of him in a steel cage. Really? I'm cool with Damian Priest, but he's still mid-card. Drew McIntyre's not mid-card, and he never was when Vince McMahon was running the ship. And you still don't let him get the best of Damian Priest? Where is Austin Theory? Where is Randy Orton? And why won't you let LA Knight be the champion? I think people would have appreciated that more than CM Punk. Just because, you know, we never really kind of thought Punk would be a champion again. But now that you've done it, that's good. Can he drop it to LA Knight? I'm not the biggest LA Knight fan either, but when you're over, you're over. You can't give Jey Uso the title and not give it to LA Knight. It makes no sense. He doesn't like these people. You know who he does like? Seth Rollins. And that's why we get the same old boring Seth Rollins every freaking week until he gets injured, shoved down our fucking throats. Seth Rollins is just like Triple H. He works with the person who's drawing in the most money. But he's never the guy who's drawing in the most money. Triple H always worked with Stone Cold. Money. He always worked with The Rock. Money. But Triple H was never the money guy. He would just work with the people drawing in the most money. Same thing for Seth. Can I work with Roman Reigns? Money. Can I work with Cody Rhodes? Money. And I'm sick of Cody, but he's still selling merch and he's still drawing in money. Surprisingly. And that's why we have to thank AEW for stuff like that. I'm not going to lie to you. That picture with CM Punk, Jade Cargill, Ricky Saints, and Cody Rhodes, a lot of people in the IWC are saying that picture means nothing. Or it shows you how bad Tony Khan and AEW fumbled those guys. They're not necessarily wrong about that. However, that photo was a proud moment. Yes, CM Punk was poking at the AEW. Yes, I'm sure he was, but it also was about a proud moment. Was it a dig at AEW? Of course. But the photo also shows just how much the existence of AEW has impacted the WWE and therefore pro wrestling as a whole. I've always said AEW. If there's nothing good to say about them right now, it's the fact that they are pushing the WWE to be better. Now, the reason why they're not being better in the WWE is because of TKO and because Triple H is just way in over his head. And AEW is just still pretty bad. If they get better, WWE would have to bring in somebody to make it better. But I digress. The photo shows just how much the existence of AEW has impacted WWE and therefore pro wrestling as a whole. If you think that this photo about, Punk, Jade, Ricky Saints, Cody Rhodes, if you think that photo somehow invalidates or downplays AEW, then you must have been under a rock or something for the past 6 years. That photo would otherwise be an older Stardust, a homeless NWA wrestler, let's be real, a TikTok, Instagram fitness model, and a failed UFC fighter. Now, I would say this, Punk was a star before AEW, but he would never be back in WWE today if he didn't come back to AEW. If it wasn't for the existence of AEW and a lot of other events in their timeline, that photo would mean nothing. And that's the reason why people should stop hating on that photo that I've seen so much hate about in the IWC. If I don't have anything good to say about AEW, I will say this. Their existence still helps pro wrestling as a whole. And some of us content creators / podcasters and fickle fans, when it comes to wrestling, should just chill the fuck out and just call it for what it really is and not be so one-sided with their takes. And I try not to be. I try to be as, open-minded and as realistic as I can. I'm going to call it out when I call it out. When it's bad, it's bad. But I'll never say that AEW existing is bad for wrestling. Look at that photo with CM Punk and Ricky Saints and Jade Cargill and Cody Rhodes. I can't hate on that. That makes me actually say thank you, Tony Khan. I got to keep it real on that part. Does he know what he's doing in booking and promoting wrestling? No, hell no. And I don't know if he will ever realize that. Because the day he realizes that, the day he'll finally bring in a Vince Russo, a Jim Cornette, or even, dare I say, Eric Bischoff to help him out with some of this booking. But until then, AEW will be AEW. But they still exist. And that does something for the WWE. All right, y'all, that's pretty much all I got. I think Triple H is jealous of McIntyre, along with Austin Theory, along with LA Knight, Randy Orton. That's personal. John Cena as well. That's personal problem. But their physiques have a lot to do with it too, because why on earth will we see people who look the complete opposite of those guys I just mentioned being pushed all the time? All the time. Can't take Sami Zayn more seriously than Drew McIntyre. Carmelo Hayes, another one. Looks phenomenal. Ripped. A smaller statue, yes, but come on, man. He doesn't give those guys the shine that they deserve. And I think it's because he doesn't want you to see anybody that remotely looks close to him and when he was in his prime be on television and being pushed and all of that, which is sad. That's not the guy that you all should want running the show. At some point, you got to blame Paul Levesque just as much as you blame TKO and the ticket sales and all of that crap. While you're not wrong on that, stop making excuses for Paul Triple H Levesque. He's the new Diddy who can't stay out of the way, who can't get his head out of his ass, who can't pull his head out of his ass because of his very, very, very massive ego. The motherfucker made a statue of himself. And I'm just tired of it. I'm sick of seeing him, and I'm sick of him shoving his... It makes me think now, as much as I'm hearing he's not at these WWE shows, it makes me think that every time we do see him, those are probably the only times that he's actually there. And why wasn't he there in Salt Lake City to take those infamous pictures that he always takes when he's got new champions? I haven't seen him take a picture with Ricky Saints and pose like he always does. I haven't seen him take a picture and pose at Jade Cargill or CM Punk. Or is he saving that for this week when he comes back to the office? I don't know. But I haven't seen that. Is it because of all of those people in that photo where it makes him think, Now, again, it's no coincidence that it's drawn up like that, but it's still also kind of an accident. It's still kind of by mistake. And that's why I love that photo so damn much. And I will tune in to SmackDown and see what they're doing, even though I'm still pretty sure it's going to be the same old Friday night crackdown instead of SmackDown. But we'll see. I bet you they don't have a celebration for Jade Cargill. She's a heel. That's a heel thing to do now. I bet you they won't have anything for her. They did for Stephanie Valkyrie. They let her come out and speak her piece. She's the new champion. Julia had balloons and everything falling from the sky. You know what I'm saying? Graffiti and everything. Confetti, I mean, did they have all of that? I bet you they don't do it with Jade. I wonder why not. Anyway, congratulations, though. They are champions. They did pull the trigger, finally. But let's see. All right, that's enough of the wrestling. I just wanted to speak my piece on that. I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope some of you agree, even though I know you probably won't. However you feel about what I just said for these past 30 minutes, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear what you got to say. I will read them as soon as I get a chance. Let's pour in about this. Is Triple H the right guy to still be in charge? Or is it time for them to bring somebody else in? You keep telling me The Rock should stay away until he's committed to the WWE. Isn't it time for you to say Triple H needs to go away? Because he definitely is not committed to the WWE full time like he should. It's been said many a times now. All the reports. He's in politics more and more. It's taking away his WWE duties. Go do politics then, brother. Just like y'all tell The Rock to go do his movies. I still think one day Triple H time was run out. And I think Stephanie and Triple H knows that. That's why they're throwing themselves in the Hall of Fame so damn soon. And I think The Rock will come back full time. If he keeps failing with some of these movies, I can see The Rock coming back full time to wrestling. He is still on the board of TKO. Thanks to his buddy, Ari Emanuel, whatever his name is. And I think that he could be the new Vince McMahon on television. Because he definitely needs to be on TV, being like Vince McMahon, you know, calling his shot. As the final boss, it would be perfect. Tell me it wouldn't be better TV right now if he was somewhere around coming out there to the stage, on the ramp, calling matches, fucking with Cody. You're going to be in a triple threat match tonight. I mean, you're going to be in a handicap match tonight. And your title's going on the line because the final boss said so. It'd be great. But I digress. Let's get to jamorant. And I won't be long on this at all. I'm going to wrap this up. But jamorant was suspended for one game due to conduct detrimental to the team. And he just returned from that one game suspension last night. Well, last night jamorant was asked about how he feels coming back from that suspension. Let's see if we can hear that for a second. I just want to play this clip just to see what you all think of it. And then I'll tell you why it's probably time for Memphis to go ahead and get rid of Ja. Let's check it out.
There's some unhappiness with jamorant. He's back after being suspended a game for conduct detrimental. They lose to the Pistons tonight, and an 8-point loss. Morant did have 18, 10 assists, and 5 boards. Afterwards, asked about where the joy is at the moment.
The coaching staff able to talk about what happened Friday and move on.
Y'all asked that question to him, huh?
What about for you?
Y'all asked that question, so y'all know the answer to that.
Do you feel like everything's been resolved?
Yeah. They told y'all that, right?
Well, yeah, but we didn't hear it from you.
Obviously, they can't go and tell y'all something I ain't say.
You feel like you get the same joy right now that you used to see?
No.
Why not? What can be done to get it back?
We'll see.
Do you think you have a good relationship with the franchise?
Yeah. They told y'all that, right?
I didn't say anything about that.
If I had a good relationship, I wouldn't talk to them at all. So, we had our combos over these.
Do you have any regrets about the way you played on Friday night in the second half?
You said what?
Do you have any regrets about the way you played the game?
That's your home run question? Sound like a big question.
All right. That's jamorant talking to the media last night after the game. Their home loss here in Memphis to the Detroit Pistons. Lost by 8. Jamorant had 18 points, 10 assists, a couple rebounds. It doesn't sound like Jamorant really is feeling it right now. It doesn't sound like he really wants to be around. It doesn't sound like Jamorant has that joy. He said it. He was asked about the joy. You heard the clip I just played for you, and he said no. He doesn't have any joy. Interesting. Interesting to say the least. So if there's no joy, he gave a direct response when asked if he has his usual joy of playing basketball after returning from a suspension, and he said no. And the way he just wouldn't just answer other things directly like he answered that question, you can tell that there's still some immaturity there and a lack of maturity and, still the conduct issues and whatnot. It just makes you wonder how much longer is the Memphis Grizzlies going to continue to put up with Jamorant and his antics. Not to mention that he's not a guy who can put up 30 consistently. He gets it every now and then, 30, 40-point games. He can do it, but he doesn't do it consistently enough. And even when he does, it doesn't always result into a win for his team. He doesn't seem to be the leader that we want him to be, that we hope that he would be. He hasn't gotten that three-point shot down consistently. He does not shoot consistently. Those are the things that you just have to do in the NBA. You have to knock that shot down. Wins and losses really are based on that now in the NBA. Can't get away with bricking more than you actually swish, swish, swish. And so if we're not going to go anywhere far having Jamorant on this team, it may be time to just break this thing down, tear it down to the studs and say, hey, let's go ahead and get a haul of draft picks, players, or whatever we will get in return for Jamorant while we can. And it still may be too late because yesterday on the live stream, I reported that some NBA execs have said that they kind of doubt if they would even make a deal with the Grizzlies if they were to, move on from Jamorant. Wow. He's still a hell of a talent, even though I did just point out his flaws. He's still entertainment, he's box office. But tell me that this is not an issue. You mean to tell me that even though you're good, you're a pretty good player? You mean to tell me that people still would say, nah, I don't know if I want him. I don't want to deal with him. It's his character that you don't want to deal with, not his game. And that's really not a good thing. So basically they're saying that the Grizzlies may be stuck with him. And I know the Grizzlies probably don't even want to let him go right now. They're trying to keep butts in the seats here at FedEx Forum. And I get that. But at some point, maybe time to move on. And I just wanted to say that. Do you all think it's time for Memphis to move on from Jamorant? And if so, let me know what team you think he should get traded to. The Houston Rockets? The team that they lost to last night, the Detroit Pistons? What about the Milwaukee Bucks? Could he work with Giannis? And Miles Turner over there in Milwaukee? That would keep Giannis in Milwaukee probably. What about the Minnesota Timberwolves? Man, what a backcourt that would be, pairing Ja with Ant-Man. I don't know. The Miami Heat, even though I'm not sure if Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra would actually take a lot of his shit and his antics, but hey, if he could get it together in Miami, and Miami already looks better than what people think or thought, that wouldn't be a bad look. I don't know if he goes to a team to the West. Minnesota will be a good team, but I don't know if they do that. Phoenix could use a point guard, even though he's not a true point guard. But yeah, man, I would say Miami. That would kind of be a sleeper. Miami, Milwaukee. I don't know if he works in Houston, though. Even though they need a guard. Van Vliet's coming back, and I would take him. His shot is better than Jamorant's. So anyway, just wanted to talk about that. Jamorant has lost his joy in playing basketball for now. He doesn't want to have anything to say about the front office and what they're talking about. He's just kind of going around those questions. All right, y'all. Jerry Jones said yesterday that they were going to make a trade, or they had made a trade, and he wasn't going to announce it just yet. What a way to get people to watch that boring Cowboys-Cardinals Monday Night Football game last night. The Cowboys lost 27-17 to the Arizona Cardinals, who had lost 5 straight games. But the Cardinals seem to be cooking a little bit more on offense with the absence of Kyler Murray and the presence of Jacoby Brissett. I'll get on that in a moment. But the Cowboys did make a trade, but it wasn't no damn Trey Hendrickson. It wasn't no damn Max Crosby, as I told you all it wouldn't be. The Cowboys finalized the deal this morning to acquire linebacker Logan Wilson from the Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah, that's right. You heard me right. The Cowboys trade for the Bengals linebacker Logan Wilson. He's headed to Dallas for a 7th-round pick after requesting a trade, according to Ian Rappaport. So we get a bad defense trading for a player from another bad defense. Great job, Jerry. Great job. All right. Today is the NFL trade deadline. Are we going to see some huge trades? Are we going to see something that's going to just like shut down the internet, break the internet today? Will A.J. Brown get traded? Doesn't look like it. They said they wouldn't. Maybe they mean that. But the Philadelphia Eagles acquired Jalen Phillips from the Miami Dolphins yesterday. And the day before that, they acquired Jair Alexander from the Baltimore Ravens, the cornerback. They made more moves than anybody else, and they're the Super Bowl champions, the defending champions, that is. Wow. Wow. Okay. That's all I've got for football news as far as trades or whatever. Last night, did Logan Paul join the Vision? Jey Uso team with CM Punk? And did you hear that Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis, that exhibition fight has been canceled after a lawsuit against Tank Davis? I don't care. I wasn't watching that shit anyway. But yeah, we're just like 12 days away, 8-9 days away from that fight, and now it's been called off. I know Netflix is pissed. Asante Samuel Jr., the former cornerback, free agent cornerback, he kind of retired or walked away from the game. He's eyeing a return. The free agent quarterback is set to visit teams after being cleared from spinal injury. Wow, that's good then. I hope he's 100%. He's cleared, so he must be. Who kicks the tires on Asante Samuel Jr.? And yesterday, I forgot to mention the Ravens traded for the Titans edge rusher Draymond Jones. Draymond Jones is headed to Baltimore for a conditional 5th rounder. I wouldn't have made a trade like that if I was the Titans, not to Baltimore. Some teams you just don't deal with. The Raiders won't fuck with the 49ers. If I was the Titans, I wouldn't have dared made a business decision like this with the Ravens. If it's Baltimore, for you, it's going to be a 4th-round pick. But I'm going to ask for a 3rd. I'll settle for the 4th. Anybody else can get him for a 5th. But y'all, yeah, we want a 3rd. Or a 4th and a compensatory or a comp pick or a player. Something. Back in the day when I was growing up watching football, I'm telling you, man, Jeff Fisher and his Titans versus Brian Billick and his Ravens, and throw the Steelers in that mix, those 3 could be in a triple threat match in the Hell in a Cell. They hated each other. And it was a big rivalry in the early 2000s. I guess things have changed. I wouldn't have made that trade. Even in 2019, 2020, they had some playoff games that were pretty pivotal, and it kind of gave you that old feel. So I would have overcharged the Ravens. I wouldn't have done this. But anyway, edge rusher Draymond Jones traded from the Titans to the Ravens. And again, I told you all yesterday on TikTok, I went live and let everybody know for my Niner game that the 49ers first round pick, Mikael Williams, who really was not meeting our expectations. We found out the severity of his injury yesterday. It is confirmed. He tore his ACL. But Niner fans, you may get Ricky Pearsall back. You may get him back Sunday against the Rams. And it looks like Bryce Huff will return as well. But after missing just 2 games to a hamstring injury, I'm willing to bet the Niners are rushing him back because this is a big game. And he'll fuck around and get hurt, re-aggravate that hamstring, and be out for the rest of the season. Well, let's hope that's not the case. All right. I think that's pretty much all I have. Now I'm just going to give you my top 5 power rankings for this week. I do that every Tuesdays here on the Great Debate Show, which is available on all social media platforms. Real quick on the Cardinals. The Cardinals look better with Jacoby Brissett. Marvin Harrison Jr. looks like a better wide receiver that does belong in the NFL when it's led by Jacoby Brissett. Tell you all to that, yeah, Kyle is still the quarterback. He's not healthy. And as a matter of fact, that's what they've all said. He said, and I quote, well, I just saw that somewhere. Hold on. I could have sworn I saw it. They pretty much said that Kyler Murray is still their quarterback. They said the Cardinals won't make a quarterback change. Kyler Murray is still the starter despite Jacoby Brissett's play in the Monday Night Football win. Now, I know they only got 1 win, but he's been playing good and the offense has looked better the past few games that he's been in there. They can say what they want, but they don't mean it. It's just that he's got that contract. The big offseason decision for the Cardinals should be, what are they going to do with Kyler Murray? Can they find a sucker to take him off their hands? Now, I'm not saying Jacoby Brissett is the future, but he's the bridge until they find the future. It ain't Kyler Murray, and I've been saying that for the past 6 years. All right. What else? Do we got here? Oh, yeah, my power rankings. Let's go ahead and get to that, shall we? Okay. My power rankings this week, not really changing that much, but you know how I do, or how most people do. The list is fluid, as Stephen A. Smith says. When a team loses, they either drop in the list or they just take them out completely. And because of some of the teams that I'm kind of impressed with this week, I'm just going to take one of these teams off the list. And I usually don't put teams on the list that had a bye week, but this team just got better with some of the acquisitions they just made, so I may need to put them on there. All right. I'm going to start with number 5. Let me make sure I do this right because I don't want to backtrack or do this wrong. But make sure I got it in order. Okay. Because there was some teams that I was really stuck on who I wanted in and who I didn't want in. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and run it. Number 5 is the New England Patriots. And I struggled with where I wanted to put them at. I didn't struggle putting them on this list, but I struggled at where I wanted to put them. But I'm going to put them at number 5. Reason being, well, they're good. And they've been very impressive on the offensive side. I've already gave praise to Drake May. I've gave praise to Josh McDaniels in calling his plays. I've gave praise to Steph Diggs. Butte. Those guys are balling. And boy, could you imagine if they traded for A.J. Brown? You know he's a Mike Vrabel guy, right? There are times in Tennessee with the Titans. Doesn't look like that's going to happen, but I had to put it out there. I thought A.J. Brown would get traded to the Patriots because of Mike Vrabel, or to the Bills because they need a receiver, or even my wish list, if he could get traded to the 49ers for Brandon Ayuk. But I didn't know we wouldn't see Brandon Ayuk play still after 9 weeks of the season. The Patriots are just good. And they've got good corners, and the defense is good. The running game is good. The only asterisk they have right now is that they still lost to the Raiders week 1. That's the only thing that I can't seem to get over. They haven't really beat anybody really good, because I still don't think the Bills are really good. But they showed you Sunday against the Chiefs that they're not bad either. I struggle, should I put the Bills on this list or not? Or the Patriots? Well, the Patriots still beat the Bills. And I still think the Bills need help on defense and at the wide receiver spot. Josh Allen is going to do his thing. But anyway, I'm taking New England over Buffalo. So I can take it now. Buffalo's not making the list. Give me the Patriots at number 5. They're good. And I wanted to put them higher, but number 4, I got the Denver Broncos. And the reason why the Broncos are number 4 over the Patriots just by a smidge because of that damn defense. Their offense didn't really do much on Sunday in Houston, but man, that defense just has been bailing them out. And the offense will show up when they need to in the fourth quarter. And I've been very impressed with that. They've been one of the best fourth quarter teams in the league. I have to give credit to Sean Payton and Bo Nix on that. That defense is really, really good still. And they're without Patrick Surtain. He didn't play Sunday. They've got some good edge rushers. I can't think of that guy's name, but he had a monster game. Is it Zach Taylor or Zach Anderson or I don't know. But that edge guy, man, that dude snapped out. They got Bonita and those guys. Hufanga. I think Greenlaw was suspended, but he's still there. The Broncos are good defensively, and I think that they're so good they can win the AFC West, and they still got a chance to win the AFC. I'm up and down with Bo Nix. I'm more sold on Drake May, but I'm more sold on Drake May than Bo Nix, but I'm not quite sold on. But I'm more sold on the Broncos defense than I am the Patriots defense, just by a smidge. So I really struggled at who will be 5 and 4. You can take that with a grain of salt. You can switch that if you would like. Let me know your power 5, your top 5 power rankings in the comments, please. 5, New England. 4, Denver. Number 3, well, it's the team that keeps on acquiring people. Their defense has not been that good this season as it was last season under Big Fangio. That's the Philadelphia Eagles. But adding Jair Alexander, who I know is made of glass, but when he's healthy, he's still not bad. He's not the same Jair Alexander, but he's still better than Marshawn Lattimore, who used to be really good, and he's just really bad now. Hey, man, if Alexander could stay healthy, and I know that's a big if, and if was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. But the fact that they added him and Jalen Phillips, who some people say is overrated, Dolphin fans told me that on the YouTube Live yesterday. But they don't have to do as much as they would have to do on other teams. Now, the Ravens didn't get much out of them. Sometimes the Eagles get more out of you than anybody else. I think that these are still good looks considering they didn't have to give up much at all for those guys. And if it does fail, it won't hurt them at all. They didn't give up much compensation, and they're not even paying Jalen Phillips all that damn money. And before they even made those 2 trades, which some people may think is not much, they still got A.J. Brown as of now. They still got Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith. This is just a Jalen Carter on defense. This is just a very talented team from top to bottom. And they're showing us right now they're still the most talented. So why would I not have them in my top 5? They're number 3, as a matter of fact. Number 2, the LA Rams. They're still winning. And they've been looking damn good ever since they got upset by my Niners on a Thursday night. And that seems like that was about, a month ago? Y'all, the Rams are good as it gets. Devontae Adams is starting to pick it up. He probably leads the league in the most 1-yard touchdown catches. Puka Nacua in and out of the lineup with injuries, and they're still winning like it ain't nothing. Defense keeps getting better. Jared Verse and all of those guys on that D-line. Sean McVay is a hell of a coach and a hell of a play caller. And Matthew Stafford, for the past 3-4 games, he has like a lot of touchdown passes. He's playing lights out, and I don't see any signs of a bad back. And the offensive line, something that I questioned back in August when the season started. I don't have to question it anymore. According to some of the statistics, they're giving him more time in the pocket than any other team in the league. Like nearly 3 seconds. Well over 2.5 seconds, they're holding off the defenders. So the Rams are my number 2 team. And again, the NFC best is the best in the league right now. The NFC West, that is. So the Rams are number 2. They're 6-2, and they shouldn't have really lost to the Eagles, and they shouldn't have lost to the 49ers if they just come up with a better 4th-and-1 play call. So even though they're 6-2, they very well could be 8-0. Another team that's 6-2 that could very well be 8-0 is the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah, they're my number 1 team this week, and I know people are saying, I dare you. You're a Niner. Of course I'm a Niner. But I'm also an unbiased 49er fan. Call it as I see it. Look, the Seahawks have not only been beating teams like Jacksonville and Washington, but they've been dog walking most of them. You know, the Houston Texans, they dog walked them. We didn't do that. We couldn't beat them. They beat the Jaguars on the road. You know, they didn't blow them out, but they dominated for most of the game. We didn't beat them either. They're 2-0 in the AFC South. We're 0-2 in the AFC South. And what they did to Washington, I mean, damn. They didn't even have to come out and play in the second half. They're playing good coverage. They are playing good at the D-line. They're stuffing the run. Their offense has been, like, the game plan has been very good. I'm not going to lie. Shout out to Kubiak. He's doing a good job, better than what I expected. The offensive line is protecting Sam Darnold. Now, that's going to – at some point, somebody's going to get some pressure on Sam Darnold, and he's going to turn back into the Sam Darnold that we know. Just like Daniel Jones did in Pittsburgh Sunday. But that's any quarterback if you can get some heat on him. But right now, he doesn't have any heat. No pressure at all whatsoever. Shout out to the offensive line. Shout out to the general manager. He's underrated right now. Who thought that trading away Geno Smith and DK Metcalf was going to work in the Seahawks' favor? But it is. Smith and Jigba looks like the best wide receiver in the game right now. They're coming up with schemes in these snub sets, you know, with their packages as wide receiver. They're in these tight sets and these snubs formations to where they're forcing you to play man coverage. And that's how they're killing you, because they've got the speed to beat you on these wheel routes, these slot posts, whatever it is that they're calling. And they're beating you with Njigba. And now they've got a few other guys that stepped up Sunday night in Washington. This looks kind of dangerous. And I'm still waiting on them to beat a good team. But when I look at the two losses they have, untimely interception by Sam Darnold against Tampa Bay in a shootout that they had. If it wasn't for that late interception, they probably beat Tampa Bay. And if it wasn't for Jake Tunges, the tight end for the 49ers, with that infamous play that I like to call him intercepting the interception that Purdy just threw up there that was up for grabs for anybody, we probably would have lost that game. So even the two losses they have to San Francisco and Tampa Bay, they very well could be wins, just like the Rams. A 6-2 team that could easily be 8-0. It pains me to say that, but it's the truth. And I speak facts here on the Great Debate Show. So 5 is the Patriots, 4 is the Broncos, 3 is the Eagles, 2 the Rams, and 1 is the Seattle Seahawks for this week. But again, y'all, this list is fluid. I thank you for watching. I encourage you all to follow the Great Debate Show on all social media platforms. Follow, like, and subscribe to the Great Debate Show here on YouTube. Can we please get the likes up? Can we get some engaging in the comment section? I'll talk back, just like I do on the live streams. My live streams do pretty good numbers, but these videos that I just randomly upload, they don't. And I need you all to please watch these videos a lot more and hit the like button. If you like the Great Debate Show for what it is, then you will do that for me. But if you're watching the Great Debate Show just to talk to me and have me read your comments live, that ain't gonna work out. That doesn't help me as much in the algorithm. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. So if you're watching this for the content, please watch this video. Let's get the views up on these videos as well. And let's get more subscribers. I'm trying to get to 1,000, and I'm 31 subscribers away from getting there. Let's hit this toll before Thanksgiving. Until we meet again, y'all have a good, terrific Tuesday. Be safe and peace.